What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video on Lex Alexis. Today I'm going to reveal my early Premier League predictions. It's a bit risky doing early predictions in general, especially when you're talking about something about the Premier League where everyone has got their own opinions and every club in the Premier League is as passionate as they want to be. My actual early predictions of the Premier League last year was actually one of my most disliked videos ever. It was very polarising. And what I will say, just to try and save my breath, I made this table before Arsenal signed Gabriel Jesus. I just want to remind all the Arsenal fans that may be disappointed of where I put them. You know, just letting you know in advance, and I may change it, but to be fair, I feel like we still have over a month left of the transfer window. And the fact of the matter is, the amount of signings we're going to get, I actually think we'll get a lot more signings from all other of the 19 Premier League clubs. So I'm just excited to predict the table for you guys. If you guys like what you see, please give the video a like. It does try to help the growth of this channel. Please do hit the subscribe button. It really does help the growth of this channel. Let's try and push to 1,200 subscribers. That would be terrifically appreciated. And please share this channel as well. That also helps the channel too. But without any further ado, let's start revealing my early Premier League predictions. Coming in at the bottom place of the Premier League comes Bournemouth. Now, it doesn't come too much of a surprise. A lot of people, including myself, have predicted Bournemouth as of now to be last place. They've made a couple signings in Fredericks and Rothwell, but I don't really see them as good Premier League signings. That would definitely be two really good squad players that will help Bournemouth survive in the Premier League. I just don't think Parker is a proven Premier League quality manager, to be honest. I feel like the squad they've got has got Premier League experience, but I'm still a bit touch and go with Dominic Solanke. He's not really had a single season in the Premier League where he's scored a good amount of goals. So for me, I think Bournemouth will be last place, unfortunately. Coming in at 19th place is Leeds United. You may notice there it's very actually a little bit close between the bottom three and 17th place. Leeds in 19th is one that's a bit of a gamble. I'm still not too fully convinced with Jesse Marsch. They have made a couple of signings, Leeds, as of now, but how do I feel about all of them? I think Aronson is an exciting player, an attacking midfielder from Salzburg. Christensen also coming in from Salzburg as well. It's interesting. They conceded so many goals last year. They lost a big part of the best part of their team, Calvin Phillips. Looks like Rafinha will be leaving very soon. Whether it's Barcelona, whether it's Chelsea, who knows. But if Rafinha also leaves with Phillips, then I think Leeds are down in my opinion. They were their two best players last year, and they're going to be very difficult to replace, sadly. Coming in at 18th place, and it's Fulham, and they'll be gutted with this because I think Fulham really want to try and survive in the Premier League this time. They really need to get rid of this curse of them being a yo-yo club. And they got the recent transfer of Polina in, which I think is a very interesting signing. It was definitely a very Fulham-like signing, getting a good international player, but whether he's going to be good enough in Premier League standard is yet to be seen. Mitrovic, I think, will have a better season. I expect him to score at least 10 goals, in my opinion. However, I'm not too sure of their back line, and that's really it, to be honest. I feel like their defence is going to cost them too many games. And I think they will narrowly miss out survival, and they will not like that at all. They definitely would want to survive this year. Coming in the 17th place and narrowly surviving yet again is Everton. Now, this one might be a surprise. Everton have been a team that a lot of people have predicted different things. Some predicting them to go down, which would be likely their penultimate season before they move into their new stadium with their forward-thinking plans. Some are predicting to narrowly survive like I am, and some are predicting Everton to have a decent season with Frank Lampard. For me, Frank Lampard does have qualities of a Premier League manager within him, but I don't think he's necessarily proven yet. And I can't believe I'm saying about that, about one of my favourite Chelsea players of all time. But last season, he got Everton to enough crucial wins, beating Man United and of course Chelsea as well. And ultimately, they had enough points from their home games, Everton. They need to have the end of the period before the World Cup to be a really good part of it, which is going to be something that I need to mention actually. The period between the World Cup actually is going to be very interesting. Some clubs will be more effective than others. You know, if you've got a team, you know, with barely any internationals going to the World Cup, they could use this time to regroup and reassess their situations and expectations. But with teams with a lot of players going to the World Cup, and especially if they go far in the competition, it could really not do the team any favour with fatigue. So that's going to be a very interesting factor. But it's something that I think is very difficult to predict to see what will happen with all 20 of these sides. But Everton, for me, I think they'll narrowly survive again. 16th place, Brentford. Brentford's a very peculiar one. If they lose Eriksen, I think Brentford will be in the bottom 5 of the Premier League. It does look like Manchester United have agreed a deal in principle, not confirmed yet, but it is looking like probably in the next couple of days that he will be unveiled as a Man United player. And he was one very crucial part of that team, Eriksen. When he came in, he was just something different in that midfield. Had some quality within set pieces as well, and that really helped Brentford's strength actually. So, in general, I do think that if they do lose him, it'll be a bit of a blow. I do think they still have a little bit enough within them, but it wouldn't even surprise me if Brentford do go down. I've got to say, I think they will be amidst the relegation zone again. 15th place for me is Southampton. It really does sound like a realistic place for Southampton. They're just a team marauding in the bottom part of the Premier League table. Not good enough to be in around top half, but definitely good enough not to go down. So I see Southampton kind of entering the same region of that again. The fact they've lost Breuer, though, it's going to be difficult to see where they're going to get more goals. I've got to be honest. I'll be interested to see where the goals are coming from, but other than that, I definitely think Southampton will stay the same. 14th place for me is Nottingham Forest. Now, I've been very careful with Nottingham Forest. A lot of people predicting different things, as I said. Some predicting them to go down, some predicting them to do okay, and some predicting, you know, Nottingham Forest to be top half. I don't personally see that. I think the squad is looking a little bit more equipped. I do think Forest have actually bought quite wisely. Getting a good striker in Anuri, I think he will be a good Premier League player. Whilst he may have been a bit unproven and he formerly was a Liverpool player, which just it didn't quite work out for him. Dean Henderson's a goalkeeper, very, very good. So I do think getting a good goalkeeper and a striker is already really good progress there. And they made a defensive signing very, very recently as well. I think they're prioritising very, very well for us. They're improving their depth, and I definitely think they've been the wiser of the newly promoted teams in terms of transfers. So that's why I think I'll edge Forest. And I prefer Steve Cooper as a manager as well. So I think they'll be in 14th. 13th place, Crystal Palace. Seems a bit of a realistic prediction, I think. Patrick Vieira, I think, will be a pair of safe hands with Crystal Palace. I was wrong, and I predicted Crystal Palace to go down last year in my official predictions, and it wasn't really a good move on my part. I think Crystal Palace, what they do well is that they invest in young potential players, and they are definitely a team that I do have, you know, a little bit of a soft spot for. With the amount of championship players who do get their chance in this team. The fact we're talking about Eze and Elise now, they've got Ebeweyi in from Derby recently as well. So they're continuing that trend of taking really good players from the Championship and young players as well and developing them to be complete superstars. And I'm really happy that Palace are still continuing that. I think they'll finish in around the 13th place. It sounds a bit realistic for them. 12th place for me, Wolverhampton Wanderers. I mean, who knows about Wolves and Bruno Lage? You know, his last couple of games of the season, it was very poor form, and if anything, I probably should have put Wolves a little bit further down. But if they do keep a lot of the squad, I do think they'll stay up there. I think Moutinho today, as of recording, has signed an extension to his deal as well. Very crucial player. Neves was heavily linked to Man United at one stage. Definitely those rumours have calmed down a little bit now. They're the two crucial midfield players there, but they've even got some really good players going forward, and their defence, with the way that they play, they're an awful team to play up against. You know, seeing Chelsea play against them twice last year, it was absolutely awful to watch. So I think they'll do the job, but I just don't think they'll set the world alight. 11th place, I predicted Leicester. Now, I think the middle part of this table this year is so tough, I really am struggling to call it. Something just tells me that I do think Leicester are starting to slowly but surely lose this Brendan Rodgers sparkle that he had right at the start of his reign, where he was taking Leicester up in the heights, competing with top four right in the end till the final game of the season, which you've got to really commend Leicester for, and winning an FA Cup as well. You know, they won't forget that anytime soon. It will get a little bit exhausting for them, and I feel like an 11th place finish is a little bit realistic for them. You know, it's not been a great season for them. They didn't get European football. I mean, this could be on the flip side, they could improve from that, but for me, I just think it doesn't seem like a team that I think has the momentum to potentially push up there. That's just my opinion though. I'll be more than happy even to be proven wrong. 10th place is Brighton. Now that's an interesting prediction again. Brighton have given me a bit of an insight that I actually think they're a little bit of a decent team now. Graham Potter has definitely had the right amount of time with the same players he's had to implement his season, and they're clearly playing his system at a much higher standard now. They have lost a big part of their squad in Basuma to Spurs. In general, I still think they do have a really good core group of players in that squad. I do think their defence is very good. Their goalkeeper, Sanchez, did really well for Brighton last year. Going forward, still a bit of work, but they actually were a bit more clinical, especially near the end of the season when they smashed 4 past Manchester United. So as long as their attacking players are on their day, I think Brighton could have a really good season. 9th place is Aston Villa. Now, this is one I'm a bit scared for because Aston Villa was one of the teams I predicted way too high last year. And I even thought Dean Smith could really have a good season. Now, obviously, Dean Smith's nowhere near Aston Villa anymore. It is now Steven Gerrard. Now, I feel like Steven Gerrard with a full season, with the signings that Villa have made so far as well, I just have a really, really good feeling about this Aston Villa side. What I really do respect Aston Villa for is that they really attract the good players in. To get Diego Carlos from Sevilla, this is someone that Manchester United and Chelsea would struggle to get right now. But Villa have got him so early on. Coutinho, they signed him permanently. Olsen, they got in as well. They've made some intent. They really have, Aston Villa. And now that Coutinho has a full season with Villa as well, I think he can actually improve things for Aston Villa here. 8th place is West Ham. Now that is a small drop off for where they did finish in the Conference League place. A 1 place drop off there. Personally, West Ham is also a very tricky team because once again, great squad. You wouldn't see it from the manager, but I just definitely think the squad that they got is just a well-organised and passionate bunch of people. It honestly really does surprise me that I've not put West Ham any higher, but unfortunately, with the 7 other teams, that's really where I can put West Ham based on what I feel about the squad. As you can see, there's a huge difference between them and Villa, an 11-point gap. So West Ham are without a doubt the best of the rest in terms of, I'd say, the elite 7 at the moment, which I'll talk about in a minute. 7th place, now this is what I was warning about. It is Arsenal. Now the thing is, a lot of that was down to just me lacking faith with Arteta personally. Whenever we see Arsenal go through a good run, something happens, whether it's an injury in a Europa League game or an injury which could be like from a World Cup tournament or whatever, like we're going to have this year, and all of a sudden it just collapses. This mentality is one thing I really do question about this Arsenal team. Had it not been from that, because what they should have done last year, they should have wrapped up top 4 like that, like easily. But it shows the problem in this squad, which is this mentality, unfortunately. And I do think that does stem down from the manager. I don't want to be an Arteta hater. I really do like some of the things he has done for Arsenal over the years. But for me, I think that is the stepping stone. Despite signing Jesus, which, yes, I think is a huge statement right now. Right now, I actually don't think they're far behind from Chelsea at all. But for me, it's just this nagging inconsistency, and Arsenal look like that they're going to defy the odds and prove everyone wrong, but then all of a sudden they prove everyone right again and fall away. Don't know if it's going to happen like that again, but it'll be a Conference League place that they will finish in if they finish that low. And with Europa League back, they couldn't even get Champions League with no European football. It's difficult now to get Champions League football. You know, you really got to be another level of a club. So it's whether Arsenal can close that gap, and I don't know if they can, unfortunately. 6th place, which may be the shock of the whole entire table, is Newcastle. Likewise, what I said with Forest and Everton, everyone, I feel, has predicted Newcastle in a different place. No one can wrap their finger what Newcastle are going to do. They can almost agree that Newcastle aren't going down, but where on earth are they going to finish on the table is anyone's guess. You know, with the money that they've already spent on their transfers so far, they have made intent already. I mean, they started it off with something simple, making Matt Targett's loan permanent. Nick Pope in for 10 million, but the most eye-catching one for 33 million was Sven Botman, the centre-back from Lille. Actually, right up there for one of the best French league defenders last season. So, I do think Newcastle are treading into the right direction, and I do think they will have a season where they'll be knocking right on the door in terms of the Elite Six clubs. And I'm genuinely intrigued to see how Newcastle will do this year. 5th place for me is Manchester United. Manchester United is also one that I don't know, to be honest, because right now they've got a great manager in Ten Hag, in my opinion. I think he is a great coach. Manchester United slowly but surely starting to get the rumour mill going. I do question the speed of it, the lack of urgency, I feel, especially for how bad their season was last year. One thing that will be a bit of a wild card, whether they finish 5th or maybe even finish lower, Cristiano Ronaldo. If he's going to stay or not, he's asked to leave. Manchester United definitely don't want to let him go, so that saga is going to make things very, very interesting for the eagle-eye viewers. 4th place for me is Chelsea. Right now, I don't think we should expect a really positive season so far. I'm always quite negative when it comes to these things, and I can kind of understand. We've got new ownership still. We're still trying to get rid of the backroom staff. We've been ruthless, but actually one area we've not been ruthless in is actually our own backroom team. Actually, being ruthless enough with players and managers, but not actually the people that work behind the scenes. It's all getting changed, and I do think right now it will be a very, very slow team going for transfers and will be very tentative, and that could reflect us on the football pitch as well. I don't know how Tuchel is going to feel safe in this job right now. I don't know how much of an owner Todd Bowley is in terms of his ruthlessness or not. It's a season which is the most mind-baffling one so far for me. So I have no idea what to expect from Chelsea. The safest thing I can offer is a 4th place finish. 3rd place for me is Spurs. I definitely think Spurs will improve. Their transfer business so far has been top tier, and that is why I feel now they've overtaken Chelsea, which we've been poor to allow that to happen. Richarlison for 52 million, a statement signing really. I wouldn't say as good as Jesus to Arsenal, but I think still quite up there as well. I already mentioned about the Basuma signing there, but I didn't even talk about the Perisic signing. Yes, he's 33, but to get him on the free is a really good bit of business for Spurs there, to get him in from Inter Milan as well. So I definitely think Spurs will improve. Conte with a full season as well. I think he will improve things for Spurs and make them interesting as well. But I don't think he'll compete with the top 2. I think the top 2 will once again be Liverpool, Man City, and in that order too. I think Liverpool will be 2nd and Man City 1st. Man City getting Calvin Phillips for me has really signed, sealed and delivered their chances. I definitely think Manchester City is just a club that's continuously attracting, players in the up of their game right now. Liverpool are still getting good players in, like Nunez in, but is he going to be a really good replacement for Mane? I definitely think things are going to be quite difficult and weird actually for the original front 2 players, whether that be Firmino, Salah or even Jota there, to play with someone like Nunez rather than Mane. I definitely think it'll take a bit of getting used to. But on the whole, I definitely see a very similar path going. I don't see Liverpool wavering anytime soon, and I don't see Manchester City wavering either. I just think we're now entering that period where we were looking back, 10 years ago it was between Chelsea and Man United for the title. We're now entering the era where it's a 2-horse race between Man City and Liverpool. So I think those two for me are on a different level. Man City 1st for me, and Liverpool 2nd, and on 96 points as well, which I do think could be a quite realistic target. So guys, that is this video done of my early Premier League predictions. Guys, let me know of your early predictions for the Premier League in the comments down below. Less than a month away to the season start, so I definitely think I've predicted this at the right time. If you guys like what you see, please give the video a like. It just trying to get up the growth of the channel. Please do hit the subscribe button if you've not done so, it does really help. And please share this channel too, that also helps the growth of this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary for signing in this video. As always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.